the next move I'm going to show is a little bit of attacking with the arm control from sort of a pseudo north-south that I like to use. Let me have you lay like this. It's not necessarily totally side control or totally north-south. I like to kind of sit at this cross section, right down an X. If you had an X on the guy, I like to sit here because I like to be able to take the back, I like to be able to take the arm. It just opens up a lot of variations, and I like to stay away from my opponent's feet and hips to where he cannot recover guard or really get out of the situation that I'm putting him in. And what I'm showing you is against somebody who kind of knows what they're doing, who could be pretty good, advanced fighter, could be even a black belt. What he's going to be doing is considered correct, and I need to show you what I like to do to disrupt that. 9 times out of 10, a good fighter is going to leave his elbows nice and glued on his chest, his forearms up high, so he's protecting his collars, he's protecting his elbows, he's protecting his arms from arm bars and that sort of thing, and he's protecting himself from chokes. You know, the poor fighter is going to leave his arms on the mat, he's going to stretch, he's going to hug, he's going to do all kinds of variations like that. So what I'm going to show is kind of how we're going to take this arm and the options that we have once we establish this, because there's quite a few. Once I'm here and I'm in a control position, maybe I'm holding the belt, maybe I'm holding the skirt, the pants, whatever, I like to be underneath the elbows, not like this, underneath the elbows, and I kind of tighten my arms against them like this. I'm not leaving them real loose. You can kind of see that movement there. And I'm holding on. Head down, chest back, on chest to chest. Okay? This is just controlling him. He's going to be moving around. I might have to move my hips, drop my hips to control whatever I need to do. Okay? So when I'm here, I like to stay kind of at this X center line. I'm going to pull back on the elbow with that motion. And I'm holding on with my hand over here on this belt underneath the elbow. So he cannot put his elbow on the mat to work an escape. So his elbows are off the mat. So I'm right here. I want this motion here where I'm going to fold my hand under and wrap it around inside that hole that I just created to get this arm. And I close the door with my bicep against his tricep. Lock it down with my shoulder. So I'm like this, pull back, open the hole, close it. And when I close it, I take my chest back to him and apply all my weight back on him. Now I've got that arm and it's being controlled. He can't put his elbow back on the mat. He's in a lot of trouble. He knows his arm is being hunted. But there's a lot of things that can happen from here. So here's what we're going to show. Let's turn all the way around. Option number 1. Let's move down just a little bit. Option number 1 is obtain the arm, lock it down, chest out, chest closed. Now watch, when I roll forward, I'm going to bring his body up off the ground and I'm going to slide my knee underneath his head. Now he's sitting in my lap and I've got my hand through, head underneath my thigh, shoulder underneath, my groin is underneath his shoulder, my right thigh is underneath sort of his back, right down towards his hip. So from here, I'm like this. Very difficult to escape. He can't put his arm on the mat, he can't turn into me. This is very, very hard to escape. Okay, you can kind of ride the guy out. But I want the arm. So I've got options here. I can grab his belt and feed it. I can grab his skirt and feed it. That's fine, either one. But I like to get this hand because a lot of times the guy's gonna back up his grip like this because he knows an arm bar's coming. So I like to be able to come in here and I like to get this collar and maybe I hold it like this. Don't put your fingers inside. Get some material. Get a nice hold like this. Okay? So I'm here and I'm here. Option number 1 is going to be the arm bar. So when I roll forward this time, I'm going to crawl up. My knee comes up to the hip. Look, I pull him towards me. See that? I pull him. So I'm closing this. I'm gluing myself to him. I'm never leaving any space here. He doesn't have any option to work from here. He's going to try to drive his arm down to the elbow and roll out. That's why I back it up with this hand. So I've got 2 hands on one and this completely secured. Now, here's where my pivot point is. I shift my weight towards his hip on my knee and make my leg come out. This leg comes out over the top of the head and I will sit down as I'm pulling him up into me. That creates the space here not happening. You know what I mean? It's glued right in through my chest all the way to my groin. I'm never leaving any space. So when I sit, I'm now like this. Watch, the foot comes towards his body, backs up underneath his shoulder. So once again, he cannot go this way, and turning into me is very tough. So I block it. Now, here's the tricky part. I shift my weight towards his head to free my right leg, and I take it over. Now, this is what I see, this is different than what a lot of people do. When my right leg comes over, look, I switch, and I put this one underneath his shoulder and lock it like a triangle. Right there. Now my hands become free, and I'm free to start attacking this arm. The wrist, pull it across, and look, I maintain my hold, squeeze the knees, but I'm also biting in, see, like this, closing his arms towards him and taking the arm back this way. Okay, that's a different thing that I don't see a lot of people doing. Okay, I don't have to apply weight to his face like a lot of people do. I'm applying pressure on his arms, making his arms from here to crossing over like this. And it creates a lot of pressure on his chest. I'm not worried about putting my leg on his face with a machine gun or any of that kind of stuff. This is good enough to keep the guy from rolling out or rolling in, and then it's just a matter of breaking his grip, 2-on-1 break, and you'll get the arm bar at some point in time.